Welcome back to Aries Ascending. I'm Dion, and this is my stray friend that will be cuddling with me today, chilling with us. I think he felt the frequencies and just wanted to come up and say hi to everyone. So I just wanted to come on here and talk about my spiritual journey and what that's been like. I might not be able to fit it all in this one video, but we'll try. And if not, I'll just make it a little series, you know. So my spiritual journey. Well, I think when I first realized I was different was in 6th grade. I think I was 11 years old, and I kept a diary. I kept a diary for the most part. I liked to write a lot as a kid. So creative writing, you know, just taking account of the day, that kind of thing. And I had this dream that I was at this long table, and it had a red cover on top of it. And I remember standing there and looking up and to my left, and there was a woman. I remember her being a white woman. She was dressed in black with blonde hair. And she said to me, "Tell me what to do, you're the boss." And I remember that striking me so odd, because I was like, one, I'm a child. Why would you tell me I'm the boss? Like, it was so weird to me. And so that dream kind of stuck with me. Well, fast forward to like 3 months later, my grandma took me to a funeral, and after the funeral there was like the reception, or the get together, the kickback, whatever you want to call it, and it was before the reception started, and I was helping putting out cups on the table. And so this white woman walks up to me, and she's like, she has all these 2-liters in her hands, and she goes, "Tell me what to do, you're the boss." And I remember standing there and just like staring at her, because I was like, huh? And she said it again, "Tell me what to do, you're the boss." And I like kind of shook it off, and I remember having that moment, standing there, being aware that I had that dream that shook me like 3 months ago, and being like, why was this happening? Why am I seeing this? Like, and it was weird because it was a dream, you know? When you have dreams, you think they're supposed to be like imaginative and creative and like abstract, and no, it was very much just that interaction. And I was just like, whoa. So I wrote in my diary that day that that happened, and I think that's the first time I documented having any kind of spiritual experience, or like how the fuck you say that? Synchronistic experiences. I think that experience kicked me off to studying and doing more research about like deja vu moments, or dreams, you know, precognitive dreams, premonitions, you know, like that kind of thing. And then I found Wicca, and like we all do, right? Or I don't know, I say we all do. Maybe we all don't do that. Maybe we all don't find Wicca first, but I don't know. I think there's just more information out there on Wiccanism or Wiccans than like anything else. That's before I learned it was mostly cultural appropriation, but I'm not gonna say all Wiccans appropriate cultures. That's a general statement, but I will say they was delving into some closed practices that they should not have been. Anyway, I found Wiccanism, and I remember like taking a book home and reading through it, and then I just felt this need to start taking notes, and so I started studying it, and then I couldn't get enough. Like, I found it, and it was feeding me, and so by the age of 12, I had an altar, you know, and you know, had crystals on it and like things I would find in nature, and like I would carve candles. I was doing spells. Like, looking at it now, like thinking about it, I'm like, I'm 12 years old, 11 years old, like doing all of this. So this has pretty much been a lifetime journey for me. And I think I've just always been very hypersensitive. So I remember another time in 6th grade where like I had this knowing that a friend was crying that weekend. Like, I turned around, we're in the middle of science class, and I was like, why were you crying last weekend? And she was just like, how did you know I was crying? And I was like, did your grandpa die? And she was just like, what the fuck? How do you know that? Like, who do you talk to? You know, and I was an outcast in school, like goth kid, you know, just outcast, quiet, introvert, nerdy. I guess I wasn't an introvert. I was pretty extroverted, I feel like, but definitely still would much rather stay to myself. So, and then like I've always heard stories of me talking to ghosts. Like when I was little, you know, little kids talking to ghosts, that was me. Yeah, so then basically I kind of got wrapped up in life and didn't practice spirituality that much. Like, practice it. It just seems like, you know, tower moments happen, or like difficult times happen in my life, and it just causes me to put down my spirituality and like be in survival mode. And when you're in survival mode, you're not in tune with yourself enough to like receive those messages or like accept that kind of information, you know, because you're worried about here, you're worried about the 3D, you're in the present, you know. Actually, you know, you're probably in the future, you're planning shit, trying to get things taken care of. But anyway, so I had endured a few abusive relationships, and you know, and some of our fights would be about my beliefs in spirituality, and it just perplexed me how men would get so angry about belief systems. It's almost like questioning them, what they know to believe is true, puts them on a defense instead of it being a conversation. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. We're not going to say all men, because that ain't true. Y'all know that. No generalizations. But anyway, I was in my last extremely abusive relationship. And I was on the verge of separating because I had moved out of the master bedroom, the shared bedroom. And I remember that time being a very profound, like, place in my life, because it was around my birthday. And I remember I went to the metaphysical store because I wanted to get myself something for my birthday. And there was this crystal ball I saw, and I swear to y'all, it was calling me, it was calling me, it was calling me, it was calling me. And I was like, I can't afford this. I can't afford this. It was like $100 and something. And I was like, no. So I started looking at the smaller ones, and they were nice, and I was about to buy it. And I just remember taking it up to the counter and being like, this is not what I want. I want this one. This one is the one I want. And so I put the small one back on the shelf and was like, look, I'm just gonna come. If it's meant for me, it will be here when I get back, you know? So I turned around, I left the store, and I told her, I was like, I'm sorry, I'm just gonna come back and think about this purchase because it's a large purchase. And I left the store, and I remember I took 2 steps outside of that door, and it called me back. It called me back. I had to go back in there and get it, and I did. And I charged it to the credit card. I'm not saying that's what you should do, but that's what happened to me. And that was 5 years ago? 7 years ago? 7 years ago? Wow, sorry. My bad. So I take the crystal ball home, and I already have, like, you know, amethyst and a clear quartz and a little table. You know, I didn't have any cards or anything, but the crystal ball was the first thing I bought. And so there was this time before that, or after that, that I was laying in bed, and I feel like I just had this download. I feel like it was like April 15th, April 14th, around there, 2015 maybe. And I was like laying in bed, and I just remember like this overwhelming feeling of energy, like, wash over me. And it was very physical. It wasn't just like I'm thinking about this, visions are popping into my head, this kind of thing. I feel it. I feel it throughout my body. My body's going in waves of like goosebumps from head to toe, just waves of goosebumps, like, and this energetic buzzing feeling. 2 doves just flew past. This energetic buzzing feeling of like presence. It was presence. And like then my vision started to do this swirl. It's not that the room was spinning or the room was swirling. It was like there was an overlay of color, and the colors were just kind of in splotches, but they were all kind of rotating like inwards to a point. Like you can tell it was a path somewhere, but it was just light, and it was just like rotating. And so I'm feeling this emotion. I'm getting these waves of sensation, and then tears. Like there's this deep, I don't know, it's just tears. And I lay there and I cry, because I'm seeing this, I'm feeling this, and there's this overwhelming presence, and I'm just like, something's happening right now. And I felt like, and I cried. I laid there for 3 hours and I cried. And I remember saying, I felt like I'm gonna have to die for what I believe in. I remember saying that and just crying. Because I felt like God talked to me. Like, I never knew what people in church were talking about when they were like, you know, God spoke to me, you know, this kind of thing. And like, that's the closest thing I could get to a description of what happened that day. And it was it was the first time I had been thoroughly touched like that. And I needed something like that. I needed an awakening. I needed something to be like, oh, well, here's the start, here's the beginning. And I think it gave me hope too, because I was still in that extremely abusive situation. I was still in that situation. So like, I feel like I needed that to tell me there's this overwhelming feeling of sensation, an overwhelming feeling of emotion available to you. Like, these are things that you can access. And so it kind of pushed me through, and I had some loss on the way. I did start using my crystal ball. I mind you, I put down the books in the study about 8 years ago to walk a more not intentional, but intuitive path. So the things that I pick up because it feels right, because I'm told to pick it up by my higher self or by spirit. And you know, those things are for me. That's just how I kind of go throughout my spirituality at this point. Yeah, I just started like picking up things that felt right for me. If it called me, if I knew I was supposed to have my hands on it, like, that was for me. And then I also had this thing start happening. You know, I was drinking a lot at the time because I was in abusive relationships. I didn't have like a solid support system, you know, and I was heavy in my shadow, like, and so I was drinking a lot. Way more than I should have been. And but when I would drink, my hands would start to get hot. And like, at first I was just like, oh, I'm just drinking, you know, my blood pressure's high, whatever. But one time I touched someone and I could tell them about themselves. Like, my energy, my hands get hot when my energy is heavy. I don't know how to call it. I don't know what you call it, but it's clairtangency. But I didn't know what it was because I wasn't studying anymore. I was just like being my intuitive self. So when I would touch people, I could feel or see their past. And that's how it started for me, was their past. I could only see their past. And I could tell them about their past or let them know that I see them, basically. Like, I see you. I see what you've gone through. Or, like, I know that this has happened to you in your life. And, like, sometimes I am that person that channels messages. Like, I'll be walking through a store and some shit just be like, you gotta say this to this person. And I'll be like, I'm not gonna do that. Because I don't want to talk to people, y'all. I'm sorry. I don't like talking to people. I talk to y'all, though. Y'all cool. I like y'all. But anyway, I'm like, nah. So for the longest time, I was just like, I'm not going to do this. But little did I know, I was blocking off other people's shit. Like, they needed to hear that. That's why I was told to say it, you know? And I've been channeling that way And when I was doing it, I wasn't really even thinking of it as channeling. But now that I'm going back and talking to you about it, I'm like, oh, I was straight just like sending messages. At times I've been able to relieve pain, like, and I feel like I was just doing all of these things because it felt natural to me, not because I wanted to subscribe to a spirituality or to a practice or to a religion, like, but I always knew that there was something. Even when I was younger, I was so dead set on unlocking my brain. There was something. I was a Matrix kid. I don't know about y'all. Like, I watched Matrix over and over and over and over and over again. That was my shit. And like, I just knew there had to be something else, because it was making sense what they were saying to me. I was like, all right, I'm trying to unlock my brain. I want to bend the space around a spoon. You know what I'm saying? And that's kind of, it's been my journey, shit. But at this time in my young adult life, I was just like, I have this power. I know I have this power. I don't know why I have this power, but I'm gonna use it, you know? And I want to help people. I've always wanted to help people. That's been the goal. And I think that's really because I needed somebody to help me. I needed somebody for me. And so I wanted to provide that for everyone else. And that was me projecting. Even though it's good, it was still me projecting outwardly something that I needed to heal inwardly. But I knew I had this gift, and I knew I had to use it. I knew it was for me to use. So I was just using it without discretion, without intention. I didn't know any better. We all learn things, you know. But yeah, stay tuned for part 2 of my journey, because we about to get in the thick of it. Thank y'all for chilling with me, hanging out. I hope what I said was entertaining, or that you may have learned something about your journey. And if you did, let me know. If you have any questions, let me know. If you want me to elaborate on anything, just put some comments down. We can get it popping, you know what I'm saying? We can start talking about some real shit. Have a very, very happy and blessed day, and thank you again for being here. You know that you guys mean the world to me, because the world ain't changing without you. So pop, 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 we gotta do this thing together. All right, okay, I'm leaving. Bye.